And now, back to Cinemassacre's Monster Madness. Great shot right there of all the zombies. And here we have a nude zombie. And you know, it just makes the movie seem so much more realistic that these people would be wearing whatever they were wearing when they died. So they're all in robes or whatever. And this right here is the same actress as Helen Cooper later on, and that's supposedly is a real bug that she put in her mouth. Marilyn Eastman is her name, and you're going to see her again pretty soon. So it's just another example of recycling all the actresses in the film.
Keep your hands up here. And everything else that's up here, too. Because if I stay up here, I'm fighting for everything up here. And the radio and the food is part of what I'm fighting for. Now, if you're going down the cellar, get.
The man's insane.
The basic laws of cinema is don't have anybody agree. If you had a movie where everybody agreed with each other, it wouldn't be that interesting.
Yes or no, this is your last chance.
It's all about conflict.
Listen, I got a kid down there. She can't possibly, I couldn't bring her up here. She can't possibly take all the racket and those things smashing through the windows.
Well, you're her father.
How would people actually respond in this kind of situation? Who would know? But you can buy it. It's done in a very convincing kind of way. And even with a horror movie concept, you know, with the supernatural, all this human drama seems very real. I think for an independent film, it's pretty well acted.
Let him go, man. His mind is made up. Just let him go.
Wait a minute.
Dialogue scenes make independent films much easier to shoot. The more scenes you can have like this, the easier time you're going to get through the production.
You're going to let them get hurt too, huh? It's all right, honey. Go ahead.
By not having every shot be an effect shot, you know, you won't screw yourself. Wish I was that smart. So now they're in the basement, and this actually is not the real basement of that house.
Mr. Cooper, we'd all be
Hey, you never talked to no door before.
Hey.
Come on, show the basement. I'm trying to talk about the basement, damn it. Well, anyway, Barbara is completely useless, and all these characters are useless. They're all hazards. You have a kid in the basement who, you know, we'll meet real soon, who might rise as a zombie. So everything that's going on here, it's just all these booby traps that are slowly unraveling themselves. So now we're in the basement. This is a separate basement, like I said, because I think the basement in the house was too small. This place here is actually where their production office was. It's located in Pittsburgh. So that doorway that they used wasn't even a real door. They just, you know, faked that. So this same basement is where the original print and all the elements of the film were stored, and this basement flooded and they lost everything. Luckily we still have the film, but you know, all the elements are lost. That's really good, smoking around the daughter. That's actually his real daughter, by the way.
We'll see who's right. We'll see when they come begging me to let them in down here.
That's important.
Helen Cooper there. Marilyn Eastman was actually a pack rat, so I hear, where she used to take home a lot of the props from the film. So she has a lot of that furniture and everything. I'd be interested to know what, you know, is in her collection, like what survived from this movie, because as we know, the whole house was demolished.
Radio upstairs. I heard a news bulletin.
There's a radio upstairs and you boarded us in down here?
I know what I'm doing.
What did it say?
Nothing. They don't know anything yet. There's mass murder everywhere, and people are supposed to look for a safe place to hide.
Take the boards off that door.
We are staying down here, Helen.
They really do play it up that Mr. Cooper is wrong. He's the one who's, got the bad plans and, threatening to put everyone else in danger. And, we'll see. We'll see who's right. There's a really funny jump cut coming up that is in every version of the film. They wanted to cut down a lot of these talky bits. They thought that, they talk for too long. So they just made a cut. They made a cut to the scene. And now the rest of that scene is lost forever. But here it comes.
Yeah.
Right there.
If Judy would come downstairs for a few minutes.
Jump cut, as if no one would notice. I guess they didn't have any cutaways.
Will you do it?
We have another Judith here in the middle. That's Judith Ridley, who was a receptionist for Carl Hardman and Marilyn Eastman, and that's how she got the part in the movie.
Okay, open up.
Compared to newer horror films, this is very tame. It is very slow at this point in the film. I watched it with some friends when I was younger, and a lot of my friends were complaining about how slow it was, and
Take good care of her, Helen.
Where's the zombies? What's going on right now? They're just
She's all right.
in a basement and talking, bullshitting around. But the first time I saw it all by myself, it had an effect on me. I was nervous the whole time as to what was going to happen, and I feel like that was it was a perfect time to see it. Like, I just saw it at the right time. I hadn't seen a lot of newer horror films yet, so this movie actually was scary to me the first time I saw it, and
Her brother was killed.
maybe I was lucky.
I gotta go help Ben with the television.
Leonard Maltin's review said something like, "Do not watch Night of the Living Dead alone. It will scare the life out of you." And that made me want to see it. I'm like, oh, what is this movie? And I was like, scared, like, oh, I shouldn't be watching this. And then it has a girl sucking on a doily on a couch. Yeah, this conversation's gonna go well. Yeah, this is awkward. Also, the composition is a little awkward if you want to nitpick. You see how their eye lines aren't really matching? Helen's kind of looking screen right, and Barbara's kind of looking at the camera, well, a little off camera. They're not really matching. Well, now she's gonna, like, yep, back to sucking on my doily.
Ridiculous. Look at this. There's a million weak spots up here. Give me one of those.
Her brother was killed.
Yeah, sucks for her.
And they talk about these windows. I can't see a damn thing. There could be 15 million of those things out there. That's how much good these windows are.
Is there a number? How many of the zombies? Oh, there's about 200 extras, so I've heard. I love this little detail here, the way they set up the TV. They just use 2 chairs.
You better watch this and try to understand what's going on.
She doesn't understand anything.
I don't want anyone's life on my hands.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't want to hear any more from you, mister. If you stay up here, you take orders from me, and that includes leaving the girl alone.
It's on, it's on. There's no sound. Play with the rabbit ears.
Reports, incredible as they seem, are not the results of mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. What do they think? We're imagining all this?
Shut up.
Shut up. It's like a sitcom now.
Which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims.
So now that they're showing news broadcasts, now it feels like this whole thing it's an epidemic. It's bigger than, what we're seeing. Like, it's happening all over. And this adds to more of the realism of the movie. It feels very real, like they're watching some kind of natural disaster unfold.
They had been partially devoured.
Good close-ups of the people here. I love the low angle right there.
Interrupt to bring this to you.
All right, get ready for more exposition.
In a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims.
Yep.
It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact.
I like how he adds that, how it's like, this is really hard to believe. We know that. I feel like that's what somebody would have to say in this situation.
Safety. Well, that situation has now changed, and we're able to report a definite course of action for you. Civil defense machinery has been organized to provide rescue.
These news broadcasts do go on very long, but I never really minded it because I feel like it puts you in the character's perspective where they're watching the TV, you're watching the TV, and you start listening to it and, There's one thing, though, that we're waiting to hear that is why the dead are rising. It's never been important in the movie, but they are about to give it an explanation, but nobody takes it at face value. The fans of the film prefer that it's a mystery still.
Why are space experts being consulted about an Earth-bound emergency? So far, all the betting on the answer to that question centers on the recent Explorer satellite shot to Venus. That satellite, you'll recall, started back to Earth, but never got here. That's the space vehicle which orbited Venus and then was purposely destroyed by NASA when scientists discovered it was carrying a mysterious high-level radiation with it. Could that radiation be somehow responsible for the wholesale murders we're now suffering?
Yep, radiation. That's what every monster of the 50s was caused by.
How are you going to get over to that pump? Look!
And that is George Romero on the left with the microphone.
Yes, that was the subject of the meeting. You feel there is a connection between this and the phenomenon?
Yes, I used to take this at face value. When I was a kid, I just thought, okay, well, radiation, whatever. That's what caused the zombies.
Just a minute.
But whenever people talk about this movie, everybody seems to have the consensus that it's not explained. And that's true. It's not. They don't say it's definite.
Our military at this time, gentlemen. I must disagree with these gentlemen presently until this is irrefutably proved.
See, it's not proved.
That can be done.
We'll have to hurry for our next meeting.
Professor, you feel that there is a definite connection between the...
And there's the Capitol building right there, so they are in Washington, D.C. This is where they filmed it, and they didn't get any permit whatsoever. They just went ahead and did it. That guy at the car right there, that's John Russo again. That's his second time in the film. You can see him opening the door there. And notice how this entire thing has been one take. No cuts.
Perhaps there will be a report, a more full report.
Will you close the window? We are doing everything possible to solve the problem.
Could have been a lot shorter, but it gives the movie that raw documentary feel, which really works for it.
The rescue stations have doctors and medical supplies. If we could get care in there, we could get help for her.
No, it's one of the world's foremost authorities on space science and technology.
Willard.
I saw a sign that said Willard.
Any moment.
It's only about 17 miles from here.
You know this area. You from around?
Get ready for more backstory.
Around here. We were on our way up to the lake to go swimming, and Judy had a radio, and we heard the first reports about this. So we knew the old house was here, and we came in and
This is
found the lady
Keith
upstairs
Wayne,
dead.
and this is his only movie.
We went down into the basement.
He was also a singer and a chiropractor. And that's one of the things I think makes this movie a little more special, is that these are all, unknown actors, I guess you'd call them. They were, it was an independent film. They used unknown actors, but a lot of them didn't go on to act in other things, you know. So to me, that just makes it more special that I know Keith Wayne as the guy in Night of the Living Dead, and that's it. So it makes the characters seem more like real people to me, because I haven't seen them in anything else. There's no recognition.
How about the basic qualifications? Well,
Look, you go down there and tell, Judy? Yeah, you tell Judy to come up here and you stay with the kid, all right?
Direct action taken with regard to the Venus probe. In the cold room at the university, we had a cadaver from which all 4 limbs had been amputated. Sometime early this morning, it opened its eyes and began to move its trunk. It was dead, but it opened its eyes and tried to move.
Already in those scenes where they're talking about, you know, the cadaver at the university waking up and all that kind of stuff, it's already setting it's sowing the seeds for more zombie films, because you know, all the other zombie films will start elaborating on this idea.
The body should be disposed of at once, preferably by cremation.
Cremation didn't work in Return of the Living Dead. That was in 1985. That's one of the best zombie films ever. That one took the unique concept of the zombies not being able to be killed with a bullet to the head.
Soak them with gasoline and burn them.
Or burning them, as he's saying.
We'll have to forego the dubious comfort.
And that movie was also based on a story by Russ Streiner. Here's a bad cut right there. That's kind of awkward. And that's only because I've been staring at the movie for so long. So,
hold him up while we try to escape.
Hey, there's a big can of kerosene down there.
I'll see what I can find.
I'll look for the bottles. There's a big key ring down there. There may be a key to the gas pump on it. I'll check.
We can toss the cocktails from a window upstairs. Meantime, a couple of us can go out and try to get the gas and come back for the rest of the people.
But that'll leave a door open someplace.
Yeah, that's right. It better be this door. It's closer to the truck.
So they are starting to work together here.
Supplies behind the cellar door. While we're gone, the rest of you can hold up in there.
I found some fruit jars in the cellar. And there's a key on here that's labeled for the gas pump out there.
Positive outlook on how the film could turn out. They could all work together, and with some good luck, they could all make it out alive.
You're it then. You and I'll go.
This could be seen as a throwback to the old dark house genre, which was an explosion of horror films in the early days, like the 20s and 30s, when every horror film was always about a bunch of strangers gathered together in an old house.
After we get the gas and get back into the house.
So Night of the Living Dead is very much rooted in all the horror genre and just brings everything together and makes it something fresh and new, puts its own twist on it.
Many, many more such rescue stations.
So now we have one last peaceful scene.
You always have a smile for me.
The calm before the storm.
All the time. How many do you have done? Come on, honey, we gotta move.
Tom, are you sure about the phone?
The phone is dead out. All you get is a recorded message.
If I could only call the folks. They're going to be so worried about us.
Everything will be all right. As soon as we get to Willard, we'll call them. They might even be there.
I know.
This is one of those scenes you could say is very slow. It slows things down, but it's useful because you understand that these people really do care, that they really do want to get out of this alive. And now that you have this, then it makes the next scenes, it gives the following scenes more weight.
I can handle that truck, and I can handle the pump. Ben doesn't know anything about that stuff.
But we're safe in here.
For how long, honey? We're safe now. But there's going to be more and more of those things.
I know all that.
I think all the sequels have their own strengths, like Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, and a lot of ways those movies are superior, but one of the things that's most superior about this one that I think is that the whole movie is tense. They don't have any breaks really, because in Dawn of the Dead there's a time when they're trapped in the shopping mall. They're not really trapped. They're hiding out in there, and they're content. They're fine with where they are. They're safe. But in this movie, the whole time, all they talk about is sooner or later they're going to need to get out of this house. So the whole movie is just preparing to make, that great escape. So get prepared, because all hell's going to break loose now. Get ready for the conclusion of Night of the Living Dead. Cinemassacre's Monster Madness will return after these messages.